Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sport lineup advice for the NFL and the NBA. I got a brand new video for you, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get started, I appreciate if you guys drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, first time here, never ever seen any of my NBA lineup advice videos, the only thing you need to do to be a part of the DFS Zone community is to subscribe down below and make sure you put on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any of my NFL or NBA lineup advice videos when I post them. So with that being said, today is Sunday, December the 16th, 2018, 4-game slate in the association in the main today on Fanduel. It's a 4-game slate. There are some games going on at 3 o'clock and so on and so forth. I figure, hey, you know what? Apologize yesterday, didn't get a video in. I had some family things to do yesterday. It was the day to go out, spend some time with the family. Didn't have really any time to do any research or do anything. I actually made like 2 or 3 lineups on the go on my phone yesterday, and I actually did cash, I think, $10 in one of the GPPs, but nothing significant, so I didn't really play. I didn't do a whole lot, so I apologize I wasn't able to get a video out today. Today's a 4-game slate, so today, like I've done in the past, every 3 or 4 game slate, like I've told you guys, we'll spit some of these players in there that I'm thinking of that I think will be fine plays going into today, and basically put them in the fantasy cruncher, you know, optimize them, see what pops up, and see what kind of lineups we get. I'll let you have a couple of moments to look at those lineups, and you can use them if you want. It's entirely up to you. Other than that, that's basically it. So we're going to get right into it today, all right? At point guard, today, kind of a couple of things to look out for. Obviously, man, Kyle Lowry still with that game time decision as far as the thigh is concerned. If he is out, obviously there'll be some Van Fleet to consider there. Also a bump in Kawhi Leonard. We're going to need him to be a super stud today against Denver. Denver, this is a tough matchup because Denver is tough at home, and Denver's been tough with everybody all year long as far as defensively. So two good defensive teams going up against each other. Lowry on the court will be a benefit for Toronto, but if he is out, definitely is going to be a bonus for the Denver Nuggets. So keep that in mind. John Wall going up against the Lakers. Lakers on the front end of a back-to-back played fairly well last night. Excuse me. So I think the Lakers are in play. I kind of like some of the Laker players here. Washington, they've been in shambles. They're in the process of they just made a trade. They got Trevor Ariza back, so he's not going to be playing that today. I think the next time they play, Trevor Ariza will be eligible to play. So John Wall's in play because, you know, he's pretty dangerous. The only thing my concern here is that I prefer Bradley Beal simply because he's cheaper, and for 2, he's in a better matchup. LA's had more struggles at shooting guard than they have at point guard. Lonzo Ball has been really shutting down people defensively over the last 5 or 6 games. When I looked out over his game log and his statistics as far as defensively against his opponents, he's done very, very well. Opponents have not been playing as well against Lonzo Ball as of late, so I think John Wall's going to have the tougher matchup going up against Lonzo Ball, and I think Bradley Beal's in a better spot, so that's one of the reasons why I would not probably be playing Wall. But it is a 4-game slate. Anybody is, you know, guys are going to be available. We'll throw him in the optimizer. We will throw him in the player pool, and we'll see what's up there. Jamal Murray against Toronto at home says he's in a good spot if there is no Kyle Lowry. So if Lowry's out, definitely someone to consider there. I do like De'Aaron Fox the most at 7,500. I will speak about De'Aaron Fox. 18 points, pretty much almost 4 rebounds, 7.5 assists, nearly 8 assists a game, 36.8 fantasy points per game. So he's pretty much at 37 spot. 7,500. You need 37 to meet value, and he's 7,600 on DK, which is a little pricey on DK. I prefer him here a whole lot more on FanDuel for 7,500, but you need 37 there as well. And he's been pretty solid, 34 plus fantasy points per game over 4 out of his last 5 games. Let's go over to the cruncher, and we'll just click on him and make sure we put on John Wall there as well. De'Aaron Fox. And, you know, of course, the guy's been solid. He's an integral part of their offensive scheme. So Sacramento, you know, one of the top, actually the top team as far as pace is concerned. So they're definitely going to make this more of a paced-up game. They are playing in Dallas, so a little concerned there. Dallas is a fairly good team at home. But overall, he's been pretty good, man. Usage rate about 24, 25%. As you can see in the last few games, it's been like more 25, between 25 and 28. He's taken about 16, 17 shots a game over the last couple of games, but on average, maybe more like 13 or 14. And then, of course, he gets a couple of threes off, maybe about 3 threes a game. Gets to the foul line. He's a pretty good free throw shooter. He gets there fairly often, you know, at least 4 or 5 times, 4 to 6 times a game. He gets to the foul line. He's able to get you some rebounds, able to get you some assists. Has to clean up the turnovers. He's been pretty consistent with the turnovers, 3 or 4 a game for the last 4 games. Definitely needs to clean that up, because if he cleans that up, that'll be more fantasy point totals for us, as he's at least getting some steals on a regular basis. So he's capable of defending and getting some steals. I love this kid, man. I really do. I think he has been just fantastic to watch. This is going to be a fairly tough game against Dallas because Dallas is fairly good at home, but I think Sacramento has a lot of things going for them, man. They are definitely one of the top teams. They're actually coming in here. They are tops in the league as far as three-point shooting at 39% from three, and they're also third overall. That they're actually number one in the NBA in three-point shooting, and then number 3 overall in the NBA as far as field goal percentage. And they're coming in here against Dallas, who has been giving up 48% to the opposition from the field goal percentage-wise, and 36% from three, which is the 4th or 5th most in the league. So again, pretty good spot for De'Aaron Fox. Pretty good spot here for Bogdanovich as well as Buddy Hield. I really like the guards here for Sacramento in this game. So Buddy Hield is in play for me. Dallas is coming here 6th in defending point guards. They have given up, as of late, 34 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. They did give Trae Young 43 recently. Chris Paul put up 39. Damian Lillard, about 5 games ago, put up 54. So De'Aaron Fox is in a pretty good spot to be able to hit value, maybe even smash value here for us in this 4-game slate. Definitely like him there. And let's just add on a couple. So other than De'Aaron Fox, obviously Lonzo Ball is in play. He's been solid defensively as of late against opposing point guards, which I already mentioned. On top of that, he just had his first triple-double yesterday of the season. He played very, very well, put up a 50-somewhat spot yesterday. So Lonzo Ball will be in the player pool as well. 38, 29, 22, and 59 over the last 3 games. He's been pretty steady at almost close to 30 fantasy points or better on average. He's been smashing at least his average. So he's been trending upward. So we're going to put him on there as well. We have to consider Jamal Murray. We're not going to pencil in Kyle Lowry in the player pool. So definitely keep that in mind that he's not going to be in the player pool right now because he's still a game-time decision. But Jamal Murray is definitely in a good spot if Lowry is out. Like I said, you got to definitely consider Tim Frazier here. For sure. I'm not too fond of Satoransky in this bet because he's going up. Satoransky's going to have to go up, and he's not going to be able to defend LeBron James. So he's been basically playing the 3. Unless they make some changes here, maybe Jeff Green will play a little bit more today. I have no idea. But Satoransky is someone that I'm not considering at all today. Fred VanVleet, we'll definitely put him in the player pool because VanVleet, if Kyle Lowry is out, he's going to get a bump. And then you also got to consider the Dallas guys. Right now we have Dennis Smith Jr. still a game-time decision as well as Barrera. So if those two are out or one of the two is out, you're definitely going to get a bump on Brunson. So we're going to have to consider Brunson in here as well. Where is excuse me, Devin Harris. Devin Harris will be the one for these guys. And then who else? Brunson. Yeah, Brunson, and it'll be Brunson and Devin Harris. How come Brunson is not here? Maybe he's under. Let's see if he's under the shooting guard. That is weird. Fantasy Cruncher doesn't have Mr. Brunson here on this list, as you can see. That is really bizarre. They do have Harris, but unless I'm blind, which I'm not, I got my glasses on, I do not see Jalen Brunson here. So that is really weird. And they don't have him under the shooting guard as well. So I don't know what that's about. That's going to definitely hurt how this optimizes here. But that's really bizarre. This is the first time I've ever seen that. So, again, there is no Jalen Brunson here. Really bizarre. But he will be in that player pool too. So I guess these are the ones that I'm going with. They do have Dennis Smith here as fine, but at the same time, it's game time. We'll put him in there. We'll just slap him in there. All right, let's go over the shooting guard. A shooting guard today. I mean, man, up here at the top, obviously Holiday at home. He's always pretty good at home. Going up against Miami, I don't know if I want to pay $9,200 for him because, I mean, give or take, somebody's going to have to go off there. I'd rather pay for Holiday, if you ask me, than to pay for Anthony Davis, who's at $13,000 here on Fanduel. Pretty pricey. But Drew Holiday, we'll put him in the player pool. I don't know. I think this is a tough matchup for him. I mean, not a tough matchup, more about, I don't know if he can get you 45, 46. You need 46 to me value. And for me, being a GPP player, I really would like them to get 55 or better so that he's exceeding value. 4-game slate like this, you want as much. But again, a 4-game slate, that's not bad. If you could get him if you're paying up for him at 92 and he's got to get you 46 and he gets you 40, I think you wouldn't be happy with that, especially considering what is available here in the bottom tier. But I would say Bradley Beal is definitely someone I'm going to consider, because John Wall is in a tougher matchup, but I think Bradley Beal has a better matchup against the Lakers as far as their guards, with KCP and Josh Hart pretty much playing the point guard, the shooting guard position, defending the shooting guards. So Bradley Beal, man, I definitely like him a lot better here. As far as for me, I will have the most exposure to him. 23 points, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 38.7, pretty much 39 fantasy points per game, 8,300. You need 41. And on DK is 8,200. You need 41 there as well. I do like him a lot better on Fanduel at that price than DK. But nonetheless, a small slate like this, you could get him in there. If you're playing multiple lineups, definitely squeeze him in there. But Bradley Beal, I mean, pretty solid here. 5 out of his last pretty much 6 games, he's at 38 or better. So that's not too bad. And during that stretch, he's at 2 40-plus games and 2 50-plus games, which I definitely love. Let's click on him here. We're going to click on Drew Holiday as well. Then we come to Beal. Definitely some, as you see, a lot of green here. A lot of guys with the potential to do fairly well because they're going up against teams that are definitely weak in the shooting guard position. But I definitely like Bradley Beal here in the Lakers, man. Game is going to be a little paced up. If Wall is neutralized by Lonzo Ball, you're going to have to expect this guy is the second, person that they go to as far as offensively in this duel between him and Mr. Wall. But as you can see, pretty solid with some greens, over 50. We know he's going to get it. The beauty of it is that he's at 8,300. You only need 41, 42, and he's got 52, 53. He can get you 55 or better. So he has the upside capable, and his ceiling is not going to, his floor is not going to be that bad. I mean, as you can see here, his lowest that he has been in fantasy points is 30. I would figure more in that 33, 34 range over the last like 8, 9, 10 games. So, I mean, I'll be happy with that. If he was to only get me about 30 to 35, I'll be okay with it. So he's got a decent ceiling, decent floor, and he has definitely capabilities of getting you 50 or better. And what I like also is this usage rate is still fairly high, 27 to 28%. He's had 33 a few times already, even 43% usage here. And then as of late, over the last 5 out of his last 6 games, he is shooting over 21, 22 shots per game. And he's also throwing up about 6 or 7 threes on the average as well. He's a pretty good free throw shooter. He can get you a couple rebounds, not huge there, but 3 or 4 a game on the average. And he can get you some assists. And I think he's a better defender than Wall. So 3 steals here. He hasn't had any steals or blocks in the last 2 games, but we know he's capable of getting you a few there. His home and away splits are not too bad. In 13 games at home this year, he's shooting 49% from the floor and 34% from 3, averaging 22.5 points per game and 37 fantasy points. He did play against the Lakers last year, had a 34 spot and a 46 spot, which we could take a look at right here on the cruncher, 35 pretty much and 46 last season. And, as you can see, Lakers 30th in defending, dead last defending shooting guards, allowing 32.8, pretty much 33 fantasy points per game over the course of the last 5 games. They did give up 78 to Harden, 64 and 49 to DeRozan over that stretch of the 5 or 6 games that they have played against recently. So definitely like Mr. Beal there. And then we come back to the screen here. We'll try to pick out a few other guys. I mean, you got to consider Doncic at home. Pretty steady. His price tag is a little up. He's pretty consistent. He can get you about 30, 33 on a regular basis. But at this price tag, you need 39. So it is a tough number to get here against Sacramento. But we're going to put him in the player pool as well. I think he's someone to consider. And I do, like I said already, I do like the Sacramento backcourt as far as Bogdanovich and Hield. You can even actually pencil both of these guys in here together because they're pretty consistent. As you can see, 26 to 29, almost 30 fantasy points for Hield. And at 64 and 63, you combine them both, that's like, what, 12,700? So you pretty much need about 60, 65 to meet value. And they could both go off at 30 apiece, and that'll end up being a bad play. So, I mean, but you could also go with one each. So you can go either or. I think you're fine. Obviously, if you're thinking Bogdanovich, he is more good for cash play. He's consistent, as you can see here, pretty much in the 30s, as opposed to Hield, who is a little more choppy but has maybe the better upside because, as you can see, he could get you in the high 40s, as he did here 3 times in a row, several games back. So That's the difference there. So if you want more of a cash play or more consistent player, it'll be Bogdanovich, who has the better floor, and then the better ceiling will probably be slightly a little bit more. It will be Buddy Hield if you wanted to go that route. But I'm going to pencil both of them in. You got to definitely consider Wesley Matthews here. If Sacramento is the 28th defending against shooting guards, even though he has been really, really bad as of late, but his price tag has come down $200, and you know, we know he's capable of getting you in the high 20s. At that price, you need about 25 to meet value. So he could be a nice little value play where he could get you by least close to value. He doesn't take a whole lot of shots, but as of late, he's taking more shots than norm. As you can see, very choppy there as well. But Wesley Matthews in a favorable matchup, Sacramento 28th. Then Dwayne Wade is a probably game time decision, more than likely out. You could consider definitely down here, you got to pencil in Hart and you got to pencil in Montel Morris. Again, this is just simply for the optimizer, just making a player pool. You got to definitely consider KCP here as well. I would definitely consider Danny Green, even though I'm not in favor of playing a lot of Denver or Toronto against one another. You know, only in the front court, I kind of like those guys the best when I get there. And that's it, man. You got to consider Dillon Wright as well and Malik Beasley here. I'm not high on Magruder. Magruder hasn't been 4,700. Man, this is really, really ugly. Ugly, 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 man. Not enough shots for me. Does take more than enough threes. And, you know, again, he's one of those guys just like Ellington. It's more scoring dependent. He does get a couple of rebounds, but he doesn't do anything else. So not a whole lot for us to gain any traction on him. Rodney Magruder, yeah, I would say right there, that's pretty much it. Let's go to small forward. At small forward, I'm loving LeBron James, no doubt about it. LeBron James is in a player pool, and if you're not willing to pay up for LeBron James, out of all the studs today, out of the top tier guys, I like LeBron James the best at his price tag. I mean, Anthony Davis, because I play a lot of the quarter games, quarter GPPs. I got like about 24 lineups being done for today. There will be some exposure to Anthony Davis. And again, I'm always trying to give you guys options here. You know, I've had some people comment like, you know, why are you choosing this guy when, you know, this team has failed, is doing this defensively and so on and so forth. And I let people know, look, this is the beauty about DFS, is that everybody has their opinion and they look at certain statistics differently, or they look at different statistics and they make decisions on those. I think they were concerned more that I was choosing the other night at center, I was choosing Willie Cauley-Stein, and he ended up putting up 42.7 fantasy points. And the other person was basically saying why you don't go with Jared Allen when Jared Allen isn't a better matchup against Washington. But again, you know, it's just Willie Cauley-Stein to me just stood out just on the matchup itself. A couple of little statistics I looked at, and basically it panned out that he was fairly good in that matchup. Again, paced up game, you know. They thought that it was going to be a blowout, and it wasn't a blowout. I mean, we know Sacramento is for real. They're a very good team, you know. So, and they play very, very good offense, and they could play some defense when they want to. So again, that panned out. But again, guys, this is why I give you options. So I basically told that individual, hey, this is why I told you that, you know, you don't have to play Willie Cauley-Stein. This is why I gave you Jokic. This is why I gave you this other guy that I think is in play, because I'm being honest with you. When it's all said and done, I'm giving you all these names. You pretty much have a nice 15 to 20 player pool that you can build your lineups around. So don't always go by what I say about this is the one that I like best in this position. Yeah, you can do that. You can go with those 5 core, but if sometimes you put those 5 core together and you may only have 4,000 or 5,000 left, maybe even less. So this is why I gave you option B and C, and why I give you at least 2 or 3 plays, or I give you some insight on possible injury news and so on and so forth, where you can actually pivot to certain other players. So always keep that into consideration. Don't always just go. But right here, LeBron James is definitely the best play here at small forward. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to him. I think he's my best play in the entire slate that I really like going up in this game against Washington. Granted, he's on the front end of a back-to-back, but, I mean, he has been solid. I mean, 11,500, you need pretty much 56, 57. I mean, pretty much 57 you need to meet value, which I think he's capable of getting done here. Washington has been horrific in pretty much every position. On DK's 10,900, you need 49. He's coming in here with 28 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Pretty solid all the way across the board, 51 fantasy points per game. He has had pretty much some good games here. Over the last 6 games, he's been at about 44, as you can see, plus, pretty much more or less. And he has had 2 60-point games in here, as you could see. And he just recently, last night, he just had that triple-double against Charlotte. He's been playing solid ball. The team is playing very, very well as well. You know, we come over here to small forward, and we're going to just pencil him in. And so you can see Washington's coming in here 29th in defending small forwards. Nobody's going to be able to defend. Satoransky's not going to defend him. Markieff Morris, I don't know who they're going to put on. Satoransky's been playing the 3, and it's just no way in the world Satoransky's going to stop LeBron James. They're going to have to try to double team him, really put him in very uncomfortable positions to neutralize him. And even then, I still think he could still go off here for enough to meet value. But solid, as we know. The minutes are going to be there. Usage is there. Over 30% over the last 3 out of the last 4 games or more. He's pretty much at 30% or better anyway. As far as field goal percentage, he's getting about 19, 20 shots a game. That is standard pretty much more or less for LeBron. There are some games that he just, takes over the game like he did here, 28 and 24. It's going to happen on some nights. And then, of course, you have the three-point shooting. He's going to take 3 or 4 a game, and he's okay. He's been most vulnerable at the foul line. He's been getting to the foul line, but he's missing a lot of shots, as you can see, pretty much at about maybe 50, 55, 60%, I would say, over the last several games, which is really, really bad shooting. But nonetheless, we know he's LeBron. He's going to get on. He's going to keep shooting the ball. Rebounding is going to be there. The assist totals are going to be there. And he's capable of, on a regular basis, getting steals and blocks. As you can see, steals, he's pretty much averaging 1 or 2 a game over the course of the last 6 or 7 games. So he's solid. Solid across the board. That's nowhere to be really concerned about with LeBron James, man. What I like also in this matchup is that LA's coming in here. They're the 5th best field goal shooting team in the NBA right now, shooting 47.8%, pretty much 48%. And LeBron, as an individual away from home, 51% on the road this year, shooting from the floor, and 53 fantasy points per game, which I really like. And then when I looked in and I digged in a little bit deeper, I wanted to share with you this, is that Washington is the 7th worst defending team against field goal percentage against opposition, coughing up 47% to the opposition as far as field goal percentage. So definitely a good spot for LeBron and the rest of the LA Lakers team. And again, like I said before, man, I mean, nobody's going to be able to defend him. So he is definitely in play for me, one of the top tiers for me for sure. Washington 29th in defending small forwards, as you can see here. They've been allowing 25.6 fantasy points per game over the last several games. Tatum has put up 29 recently, 33 by Bogdanovich over the course of the last 2 to 3 games. Those are the two guys that have put up the most best numbers. And again, these guys are not, neither one of these guys have the skill set of LeBron James. So I definitely like them here. And then when we go and look to see if there's any other. And again, Kawhi Leonard is in play, ladies and gentlemen. I will have exposure to Kawhi Leonard, even more so if Kyle Lowry has been ruled out for today. So keep on top of the news and make sure that you are aware of that and make that decision. Then obviously he'll end up being a little bit more chalkier than he would be right now. I think LeBron will be somewhat of a better play. Otto Porter, game time decision with the knee. Same thing here. They just traded Kelly Oubre away. So I would think Jeff Green is definitely the guy that gets all the workload here until Trevor Ariza arrives. So keep an eye on that. If Porter's out, definitely Jeff Green would be someone to consider. Marichuk here with the ankle injury. If he's out, obviously you got the Solomon Hills, you got the Darius Millers, you got Julius Randle getting a bump, and so on and so forth. I'm not too fond of Josh Richardson here at 6,200. His price tag is going up against New Orleans. I think right here you need about 31. We'll put him in the player pool. I just don't think this is a great matchup for him. I do like to pay down here with the Miami players. You could go all the way down to Winslow or Derrick Jones Jr. Derrick Jones Jr. has been getting a lot of minutes as of late, and he is definitely fairly priced at 4,600, averaging more than 20 somewhat fantasy points per game. I do like Dennis Smith Jr. here. Actually, he's 27 straight. 27 plus, 4 straight games of 27 plus, and then Finney Smith at 4,500 is not a bad play as well. And then, of course, you got to consider at 42 and 3,800, Mr. Solomon Hill's been getting more the bulk of the minutes for New Orleans up front. So you may consider Solomon Hill. That's entirely up to you. We'll put those guys here in the player pool right now. So we're gonna definitely check in Kyle Lowry. We'll punch in there Richardson. We'll punch in there Barnes, Winslow, Hernan Gomez, Jeff Green, Belitia, okay, and Derrick Jones Jr. and Darian Finney-Smith and Solomon Hill. Now, this is a good one here. OG Anunoby. Anunoby may be in play today, even CJ Miles, especially if Siakam is out. So I'm concerned about Siakam because I like the matchup for Siakam but against Denver. But I don't know. We're going to put OG in there. It's just he's in there. He's probably not going to pop up here in the optimizer really high simply because he's not projected to put up a lot of points. But, of course, we as DFS players, we got to be aware of the injury news. And if the injury news is out and there's any news that OG will probably be playing more minutes or that he is starting, he will be someone that we have to consider All right, at power forward. At power forward, man, I have it's right now it's just debatable. I mean, Anthony Davis is in play. If you're playing multiple lineups and you're playing that 25 cents, for 20, 25, 30 lineups like I do, you definitely got to throw him in there in 1 or 2 lineups. He's not a high core play for me because this price tag is pretty high, 13-1. I think that for 13-1, I could come down here and take 2 Miami players or even take a Denver player and a Washington player, and I'll be below that price tag, and I'll be able to get 2 solid plays that could probably get me just as much as what Anthony Davis would get me in a matchup like this. So with that, I'm gonna put him in the player pool, but I'm not high on him today at this price, where I think I could pay down. I can actually get 2 guys that could put up the same amount of points that he could put up or better for even a cheaper price. Kyle Kuzma, someone you definitely should consider. He's been really, he's priced up, pretty high, and respectively so. He's been playing very, very well. I just don't know. Washington is not going to be able to hold down. Markieff Morris is not going to be able to defend Kyle Kuzma. It's more so for me about the price being $8,000 and you're needing 40. And for me, I would need 48.50 to be even more comfortable with it. And I don't know if he's going to be able to get me 50. He hasn't hit 50 yet this year. And that's pretty much where you need to be at. So right now he's pretty much priced out as far as the GPP. But for today being a 4-game slate and the matchup against Washington and them having vulnerability against power forwards, I don't see no reason why you cannot sprinkle him in. I will have some exposure to him, but not high exposure. I think the guy I really like the most at this price tag here at power forward is Siakam in the matchup against Denver. They don't have Paul Millsap. But then again, he's going to probably face and go up against Mason Plumlee. So a lot of little scenarios you can go with here. You got Siakam. If he doesn't go, then I can see everybody going with Trey Lyles and actually pairing up. Here on Fanduel, you will have to take Mason Plumlee as a center instead of Jokic to pay down. And I think that combination of Mason, who will probably be playing the 4, while Jokic is playing the 5, of course, will pan out for you guys. But on DK, it works out even better because I think they're Miles, Mr. Plumlee, Mason Plumlee is power forward and center eligible. So that will work out even better over there, where you can actually put him as your power forward. Over here, you can't do it. He's over here on Fanduel. He's a center. But that's an option you have. You could say, hey, I'm going to pay down, go and get yourself Trey Lyles here, and then at center, take Mason Plumlee. I think that 2 front court combination there for Denver will not be bad, especially against Toronto if Siakam is out. I think that's a big advantage for the Knights. Siakam is able to play. Then I will probably not go Mason Plumlee. I will go Siakam and probably go with one of the Miami players like Olynyk or Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo here is interesting also too, because I think he is the one, at least in my opinion, should be playing and going up and defending against Anthony Davis to try to neutralize him a little bit. He is a better defender than Olynyk. And not only that, again, they may go with Whiteside against Davis. Who knows? We know that Julius Randle more than likely is going to play. He's been playing at the center spot. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they go about this. But I think Bam will probably play and start and try to defend Anthony Davis. And I think he's a better defender. He has blocking ability. He has steal ability. He is capable of getting steals and blocks. And I kind of like him there against that matchup with Anthony Davis if we find out that that is going to be the case. At 5,800, I would be not at all opposed to making a lineup having Bam Adebayo and Kelly Olynyk as my 2 power forwards, because both of them together, as you can see, at 58 and 5,500, and they both capable of getting 30 or better. They have upside. You can actually probably smash here with these 2 guys at under 11,000, under 12,000, which will be below a whole $1,000 more cheaper than Anthony Davis, and those guys can definitely probably get you 60 or better combined. So that might be a very sneaky, good strategy to use today. You could also do it with, like I said, with Denver, with Trey Lyles as the power forward, as one of your power forwards here, and then at center having Mason Plumlee, or just playing and just getting Jokic, all right? But here, that's the dilemma here for me, man. Again, I am all over Siakam if he's able to play. I think he'll match up well against Denver here versus Lyles or Mason Plumlee. But at the same time, there's no Siakam, then I'll probably be pivoting more towards the Denver players or the Miami players. So all those guys I'm going to put in the player pool. So again, not much to say there other than I like all those guys. So let's go to power forward. We'll throw in there Anthony Davis. We'll throw in there Kyle. I'm not high on Markieff Morris. I'm not going to put him in the player pool. Okay. Ibaka we could throw in there because we know he's going to be playing and he's going to be starting. Bam for sure. Siakam for sure. Olynyk for sure. Lyles for sure. And then we got to consider Harry Giles here for that game as well because, again, Bagley is out. So Sacramento's going to need somebody to play. We go over here to Sacramento. And the power forward spot, they really don't have. I mean, I don't think they're going to play Zach Randolph. They haven't played him all year. So I think Harry Giles III is going to get a nice bump here due to the fact that Bagley is out. I think he will play at least 20 minutes or so. And he's been pretty effective when he has played a few minutes. Granted, he hasn't played at all. I mean, again, that is just a really big, that's just a major stat. You're going to just have to just throw him in there if you wanted to. If we get any word that he is definitely playing, that will definitely help out here. But right now, his game log is showing that he has not played a whole lot, even while Bagley has had this little troublesome knee. But now he's definitely out, so I don't know how they're going to go. I think, but obviously, Bjelica has been playing. I think that's what they've been using Troy Williams. That's correct. Troy Williams and Justin Jackson. So they'll go a little smaller and faster. And then that will be the budget play there. That'll be the drop spot play right there. Troy Williams or Justin Jackson, other than Bjelica, is going to definitely be playing. So that's the way they will go. So that's the reason why Harry Giles III hasn't played a whole lot. So Bagley out. I think the bump here is Troy Williams and Justin Jackson, which we got to go back to the player pool and throw them in there. Chances are they're not going to pop up in the player pool, but we're going to throw them in there. Justin Jackson. And where is Troy Williams? He's not even in here. Again, another player, unless he's in the power forward spot. See, that is terrible. They don't have him in here in the fantasy cruncher. Troy Williams I don't see him in here. Let's see if he's under the shooting guard spot. He's not, which he's not. He's normally just a 3 or a 4. They got Justin Jackson. They do not have Troy. They have Troy Brown. And that's not what we're looking for. So, another one. It's going to be really tough. It is what it is, right? There's nothing I could do about that. Trying to help you guys out with a little bit of a lineup thing. All right, so let's go over to center. At center, I mean, hands down for me, I love Jokic here. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you got to consider Nikola Jokic here. He's been on fire. He's starting to get back to the old Jokic of last year and showing that he's one of the top centers in his league. You could pay down, could go to Julius Randle against Miami, against Whiteside, who is, foul prone. But at the same time, so is Julius Randle. I think Jokic is a little bit better in that aspect with a little bit more discipline. But again, like a Jokic, I like the Denver guys. Jokic and Plumlee are the ones that stand out the most for me. And then you got to consider down here on the cheap ones, you got to think Thomas Bryant, who more than likely is going to start again for Washington, only plays about 18, 19, 20 minutes, but gets you 1 fantasy point per minute. And you got Tyson Chandler, who comes in sporadically and gets you some minutes too. So you can consider him as well. But at the top, man, Nikola Jokic, man, no doubt about it. 10,200 is priced pretty high, but he's capable of getting the numbers down. I mean, this is the area that he should be at because he is a 50-plus player on a regular basis. He should be, for the amount of usage he gets and the amount of shots he takes. And as you can see lately, he has been literally on fire. 3 straight games at 52-plus. Putting up, we'll go over here to the cruncher. 52-plus over the last few games, man. And, of course, the minutes are there. We know that. 33 or better. His usage is going to be high. He's pretty much at about, 25, 26% on average. And then he's taking more than enough shots. He gets about 13, 14 shots pretty much per game. As you can see lately, he has been more at 15, 16 over the last 4 games. He takes a couple of threes. He's capable to get on the foul line. And, of course, he is a pretty good free throw shooter. And, again, he brings all the extra things that we look for in fantasy basketball, the rebounding, the assists, and he's capable. He got to clean up those turnovers. He has 6 turnovers in the last game. If he didn't have those 6 turnovers, that would have been 6 more fantasy points because he lost 6 points there. But, as you can see, he defends. He gets a couple of steals, has had 5 steals in the last 2 games, 7 over the last 3, and he's capable of getting some blocks, double-digit numbers, 3 straight games at 24-plus. Man, he is just incredible. Home and away splits, excellent at home this year, 52% field goal percentage and 45% from 3. He has been rock solid at home, 18 points per game, 49 fantasy points on average at home thus far this year versus Toronto. He played them earlier this year, and he had a solid game already in that one matchup against them. 62% pretty much fantasy points in that game. He played 35 minutes, 61% field goal percentage, 87% from the free throw spot, 11 rebounds, 15 assists, 23 floor points, and a total of 62, pretty much 63 fantasy points. And as you can see, he was rock solid against them last year as well. So definitely Jokic is in play hands down. And like I said, here you got to throw in, of course, Randall in the matchup against Miami, the vulnerability of Whiteside with the fouling. We don't know if Whiteside is going to be more on Anthony Davis, and maybe Bam will start and he'll be defending Julius Randle. I have no idea. I really do believe that he'll be up against Whiteside, and I believe that Bam is going to play, and I think he's going to try to neutralize Anthony Davis. So Mason Plumlee, I do love him here as well. You got to consider Willie Cauley-Stein against Dallas, a little vulnerability there, and then you got to think the same way with DeAndre Jordan. And then if you want to pay down and really want to get really cheap, then you're going to have to consider Tyson Chandler, who gets about 15, 16 minutes on average, and Thomas Bryant, who hasn't gotten really over 20-somewhat minutes of play. He's been 17, 18, 20 over the 3 games that he has started, gets a few shots off, a few rebounds, not a whole lot of scoring, but he's getting you at least 1 fantasy point per minute. So if you wanted to go that route, I probably, myself personally, would probably not be, but again, you guys can if you wish. And that's pretty much where we at as far as players, as far as injury, and as far as the player pool. So there goes the player pool. The player pool is 49 players right now out of 76 that are eligible to play today. We're going to punch this in. We're going to put in, I don't know, let's do 50 lineups. Let's go 50 lineups, and let's see what we get, and we'll take it from there. Okay, Plumlee so far, Bradley Beal, Kuzma, Richardson, they're the top dogs at the moment. Mason Plumlee is still on the top. Bradley Beal 100%, Mason Plumlee 100%. Kuzma is at an 85%, Josh Richardson 73% so far. And we're wrapping up right there. 50 lineups, Plumlee. So we got Plumlee at 100%, Bradley Beal at 100%, Kyle Kuzma at 86% in 43 of the lineups, Josh Richardson 72%, Drew Holiday at 64%, Tim Frazier at 60%. My boy De'Aaron Fox is in 56% of the lineups. Then you got Barnes, Dennis Smith Jr., which we don't know if he's going to play or not, Lonzo Ball, Trey Lyles, Bam Adebayo, Justin Jackson, and Jeff Green. We'll go over individually. Point guard, Tim Frazier is the top guy with De'Aaron Fox at 56% second. I'm okay with that. I kind of like both of those guys. I will be having exposure to both. Bradley Beal, Drew Holiday. We'll have a little exposure to Drew, not a whole lot. I do like Bradley Beal a lot. Bogdanovich and Buddy Hield, I think they're definitely guys you got to consider in this 4-game slate. Wesley Matthews and Doncic, very low, only in 1 lineup. Wow. So they're not projecting him to do very well. Small forward, Josh Richardson, 72%, Barnes at 50%. Then I'm not really happy with anybody else. But as you guys already know, I told you I love LeBron James here. I know he's on the front end of a back-to-back, but I'm not concerned whatsoever with LeBron. So he'll be in play for me for sure. Power forward, Kuzma's the top guy. Lyles at 40%. There comes Bam at 38%. Mr. Harry Giles, which probably Giles will not be playing. I already told you it's going to be more Williams but Kelly Olynyk here. And then at center, Mason Plumlee, 100%, man. They don't even have Jokic, nobody else. Again, I like the Mason Plumlee play in this game, especially if there's no Siakam. I mean, if Siakam is out, I'm definitely going to pivot over to Mason Plumlee by putting him at center and most of my lineups here, and then maybe just using Jokic in just a few lineups, not entirely in all the lineups. So Jokic is in play. Definitely on the Draftkings, if you can get Jokic and Plumlee in your lineup, I think that'll be a pretty good play for you guys. No Kyle Lowry. You definitely got to consider Kawhi Leonard. I would more than likely get a lot more Kawhi Leonard if I know for a fact that Lowry's out. But that's pretty much where we at, man. Let me just show you these lineups a little bit more here. So we got here De'Aaron Fox, Tim Frazier, Holiday, Beal, Richardson, Jackson, Kuzma, Lyles, Plumlee. I'm not too much fond of Justin Jackson. So that would be someone that I would definitely change. But overall, everybody else, I'm okay with Holiday and Beal. And I'm okay with Frazier and Fox. I'm okay with Richardson. I'm okay with Kuzma and Lyles and Plumlee. I like that. And this lineup here, you got Ball, Dennis Smith Jr., which right now we know is a game-time decision, so he's probably someone that's not going to play. Holiday, Beal again, Richardson. Got Harrison Barnes. I'm okay with Barnes. I don't think this is a great matchup for Barnes. Kuzma, Giles is definitely someone that, again, it'll be like a sneaky play. Again, we already noticed that these guys have been playing more with the small forwards as 4 spots when when Mr. Bagley is out. Mason Plumlee. Over here, you got Fox, Smith, Beal, Bogdanovich, Richardson, Barnes, Kuzma, Abadale, and Plumlee. We'll stroll it down, show you a few more. We got Ball, Smith, Holiday. Again, I'm going to have to just take, I hate to do this, guys, but I'm going to take, I hate to make the videos long, you know, but you guys can always stop and look at this a little bit at a time. But let's take out Dennis Smith Jr. because right now, Dennis Smith Jr., unless, let's just let me regenerate this and see if there's been any change on Dennis Smith. Right now, I still say, it said that he was game time decision. And if he is still, Dennis Smith says game time decision still with the wrist and Barrera with the ankle. So I don't think we should have those guys here. Let's make another optimized lineups without these guys in here. Okay, so no, okay, that takes care of that. Let's see if there's anybody else we could remove out of here. I guess we could take out Beasley. We're not expecting him to get a whole lot of minutes here. Doncic. I don't think it's going to change much there. Barnes, Winslow, Green, Jones. We're taking Justin Jackson out of there. I don't think he's going to get a lot of time on the floor. We're going to take out Darius Miller as well. And Green, Winslow, Barnes. Okay. At power forward, let's see. We've got Davis, Kuzma. No Markieff Morris. I just think that he's not going to get more than enough to meet value in this matchup. Siakam. Let's take Siakam out for the time being, just in case he is out. And we're going to take Giles out because I don't think Giles is going to get the minutes that we need. Lyles, Olynyk, I think that's good enough in that center. Obviously, Tyson and Bryant. We're going to leave Bryant in there. I think DeAndre Jordan and Willie Cauley-Stein. I think these guys are okay at this price. 69, you need pretty much 34, excuse me. McGee, Willie Stein needs 35. 35. Let's take a look at this again. He's been solid. 35 or better. 36 or better in 3 straight games. We'll leave him in there. Plumlee. All right. Regenerate this. We took out a couple of guys. Only about 3 or 4 guys. Let's see what we get now. It looks like still Mason. Obviously, Mason and Bradley Beal are the top dogs here. So, again, you know, try to get them in your lineups. Again, you don't have to go with these lineups, ladies and gentlemen. I told you guys time and time again, I do not use all these lineups. I really love a lineup. I'll play it. I'll play a few, but I won't play everything. I like to try to generate my lineups on my own. So Mason Plumlee, 100%. Bradley Beal, 96% now, not 100. Kyle Kuzma is 84%. Josh Richardson has moved up to 82%. Tim Frazier, 68%. De'Aaron Fox has moved up to 66%. Barnes, 60%. Trey Lyles, 52%. Ball has moved up to 52%. And we go over again. Power point guard, Frazier, top dog. De'Aaron Fox right behind him. Lonzo Ball. So those are the top 3. At shooting guard, you got Beal, Holiday at 36%. Then Bogdanovich and Hill at 28 and 22 respectively. So you can go that route. You got small forward. You got a choice of Richardson, Barnes at 60%. Jeff Green, 30%. And I am not in favor of a lot of other guys other than LeBron James, who's only 2% here, only one lineup. That's due just to the price, obviously, as well. OG Anunoby at 4%. Could be a sneaky play if, again, there's no Siakam when we get word that he's going to play more. Power forward, Kyle Kuzma, Trey Lyles, Bam Adebayo at 44%, and Kelly Olynyk at 20%. I'm okay with any one of those 4 guys or 2 out of those 4 guys. And then at center, the only guy that is on all 50 lineups is Mason Plumlee. So that's pretty much it. So these are the guys. These are the last lineups: Fox, Frazier, Beal, Bogdanovich, Richardson, Barnes, Kuzma, Olynyk, and Plumlee. And then over here we got Ball, Frazier, Beal, Bogdanovich, Richardson, Barnes, Kuzma, Abadale, and Plumlee. And over here we got Fox, Frazier, Beal, Bogdanovich, Richardson, Harrison Barnes, Kyle Kuzma, Trey Lyles, and Mason Plumlee. And then you got another 3 here. So you can always pause the video and take a look at those. Again, if you like any one of these lineups, it's entirely up to you if you want to use them or not. I don't recommend you use all of them. All right. I tried it when I first used Fantasy Cruncher 2 years ago. And I wasn't doing a whole lot with it. I figured let me just do more work. And that has paid off better for me. So it's better to just do that additional research and spend a little time on it. But again, and try to, create your own projections more or less on your research. But you could use any one of these. And like I said, I have used some of these lineup time to time. If I really like a lineup or it's close to what I was looking at and it gave me an idea of of one or two other plays, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm going to go that route, and then I'll probably utilize one or two lineups. But I made 50 lineups here. I'm not going to go and throw 50 lineups with all these that are here. Okay, so that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen, man. I wish you guys a lot of luck. Drop a like on the video. Again, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's slate. All right.